Can the offense respond after a defensive-dominated practice over the weekend? It's a Monday session from Oxnard, California, and Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb. They're clicking into midseason form already. All coming up on Training Camp Live. Welcome into a Monday edition of Training Camp Live presented by American Airlines. Alongside Rob Phillips, I'm Kyle Yeomans, and the good stuff is happening on the field at the moment. Look at this one-on-one battle, wide receivers versus DBs. We got to see a little bit of this last week, Rob, but this is an opportunity really for it seems like the DBs to get back at the wide receivers.
Yeah, nice day of rest for the Cowboys yesterday, and they're back at it in pads today. We saw a couple plays early. Micah Parsons with an interception. Wish we'd filmed a little earlier today. Great play, and now back to the receivers.
And that was Cavante Turpin. It looked like Diggs was backed off in coverage, and Turpin just slipped underneath and had a wide-open look over the middle of the field. We're going back and forth. All the quarterbacks are mixing in. All the position groups, the skills players are all mixing in as well. And then we'll move into team drills coming up here in just a little bit.
Boy, Mike McCarthy very complimentary of Cavante Turpin and what he's done starting at camp since signing here.
Here's Cooper Rush, Peyton Ian Bunting is the tight end that's running up against Story Jackson, the undrafted free agent linebacker out of Liberty.
Ian Bunting trying to take advantage of these extra tight end reps with Jeremy Sprinkle still out of practice with an Achilles soreness.
Heard Sean McCune kind of talking about that earlier last week as well. Is you never want the guys to get hurt around you, but you are going to take advantage of it when you can. Anthony Brown, CeeDee Lamb, 1v1 and a dime in the back of the end zone. Dak Prescott put that on the money. Those two guys have had the best camps out of anybody in their position group, and they showed it right there.
The last couple practices, they have really clicked on offense. They had a mojo moment drill, Kyle, earlier, 4th and goal situations inside the 10-yard line, and another perfect ball from Dak to CeeDee a few minutes ago.
I think Dak Prescott's had his best practice so far. Great throws on the back of the end zone in the red zone drill. Now you look at the deep ball, too. He's thrown a couple of them. Here's Turpin showing off the speed against Trayvon Diggs. Diggs kept up with him step for step as he goes out of bounds to the far sideline.
That's great catch-up speed by Trayvon Diggs. Cavante Turpin is fast as anybody on this field in camp.
So now we're in the team drills following a little bit of one-on-one, and there's going to be some run and play action emphasis throughout this. They did this a little bit on Saturday, Rob, but it's really getting the offensive line in some cohesive unit. A little continuity is the word that we like to use when I talk about up front. This is a way to do that.
Yeah, and as Zeke gets some chance from the crowd, we've talked about it many times. There are so many limited amount of work here in pads that they get. This is so critical for the offensive and defensive lines. They'll get a little bit more work against Denver later in the week before the preseason game. So this is really good stuff. And the defensive line really won, I felt like, on Saturday.
Yeah, they were pretty dominant throughout that practice. The offense has really responded today. Here's a handoff to Malik Davis, it looks like. Yes, Malik Davis, the undrafted rookie out of Florida, getting the carry here. No Rico Dowdle back just yet. And then Tony Pollard's been mixing in and out as well. So a couple different guys utilized in the backfield along with Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, and Malik Davis is going to get more work in preseason. You know he will. Undrafted guy. He's shown up in these practices. He's been efficient as a runner and as a receiver with some extra reps. As you mentioned, they've been a little banged up at the backup running back spot.
Couple receivers to the near side of the formation. Pollard in the backfield with Dak Prescott. They put CeeDee in motion. They want to look his direction. Instead, Prescott throws it over the middle. There's Jalen Tolbert. He would have been stacked up quickly by Donovan Wilson, who was in the right place at the right time, but he found Tolbert for a quick gain.
Donovan Wilson there, number 6, in position for the would-be stop. Also, Marquise Bell getting some extra reps. I have not seen Jaron Kearse out in team drills today. Might be a veteran rest day for him. We'll check on that later.
Entering into his 6th year in the NFL, or his 7th year in the NFL, rather. Dalton Schultz out there. CeeDee back in the formation after running that last one. Dennis Houston is to the outside as well, running with the ones. Keep that in mind. Here's a handoff to Pollard in the backfield, who got around the edge. My goodness, there was some Navy jerseys getting off to the side there that really gave Tyron Smith a little bit of fits off the, or excuse me, that was Josh Ball, a little bit of fit off the edge.
Yep, working next to Tyler Smith, first-round draft pick, so the young guys getting some reps in there. This is critical for Josh Ball, his opportunity to win, maybe that swing tackle job. He's getting a lot of reps at left tackle here the last few days. No Matt Lesko, obviously, dealing with the shoulder injury.
These are a couple crucial weeks for this offensive line, trying to figure out what they'll go with week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Play action. Prescott keeps it over the middle. There's a wide open Jalen Tolbert again. Second time that he's caught a pass throughout this team drill.
Our friend Isaiah Stanback, very complimentary of Jalen Tolbert. Isaiah, having played receiver in the league, just loves his demeanor. He's just very even-keeled. He's very efficient as a receiver. You mentioned Dak and CeeDee getting that chemistry going. I feel like Jalen has kind of built on that himself the last few days of practice here.
A couple young wide receivers out there with Dak Prescott at quarterback. Vasher, Simi Fehoko. They're going to go Fajoko's way. Bobbled it and dropped it. He was covered all over by Anthony Brown. Just a great job by AB there to stick with him.
Mike McCarthy, so complimentary of Anthony Brown. His season last year, he's been as good as any corner in camp so far this year. In camp this year. Simi Fehoko with another touchdown catch in the Mojo moment earlier. He's having a nice camp.
Second team offense and second team defense out there. A couple of the same guys on the offensive line with Tyler Smith and Josh Ball out there. Little screen play, and that's Turpin far side. There's the speed and the elusiveness of Turpin. We saw him in the 101s going up against Trayvon Diggs a little bit earlier, but, I mean, prior to this practice, he's really only been in special teams and then a couple team drills here and there. He's really been very much so involved in this practice.
Yeah, they're obviously looking at him as a punt returner. He told me a couple days ago he's doing a little bit of kick return stuff, but they want to see him as a receiver, and he led the USFL in receiving. And what can he do to make this team? That's as much as he can do on offensive special teams. That's going to be key.
After this play, we're going to do some ISOs. We're going to try and figure out who we want to focus on. There's Malik Davis again out of the backfield. Some emphasis from the coaching staff to stay up and keep running. You want to finish the run. That's one of the big talking points for the tailbacks. Let's see who's on this defensive side. Rob, tell me who you want to focus in on. Maybe Jabril Cox in this play? He's out there with number 14.
Let's do that. He's back at practice. They've been kind of managing his workload coming off of last year's knee injury. And maybe we'll see him in some coverage situations. That's where he really thrives, Kyle.
Let's stick with Jabril Cox on this play. Of course, number 14 in the Navy. I'll call the play, and then you, of course, keep an eye on what Cox does. He's coming off the edge, and they go with the screen play, but it's dropped by Aaron Shamplin. That might have been a big gain. Tyler Coyle was kind of headed that direction to the far side, but definitely not enough time to make it to the edge, and he dropped it either way.
Jabril Cox did the opposite of what I thought he would do out there.
You thought he'd drop back in coverage.
He's so good in space. That's what they think he can really contribute. And Anthony Barr has not started practicing yet, but that bringing him in will just add to this linebacking core.
Let's see Sam Williams off the edge here, number 54 edge rusher to the near side of the formation. Looks like he's coming. Yes, he is. Got in there, got picked up, though. Can he get off his block? He doesn't this time. And Cooper Rush off balance. Throw, batted away. Tried to find Simi Fehoko over the middle of the field, and that one was knocked away by Thomas.
Tight coverage there. Excellent job there, sticking with his man over the middle. One thing that Mike McCarthy said about Cooper Rush, he's going to make the right decisions. He's not going to force something there. Almost had a completion over the middle.
Good job picking up Sam Williams on that last play to allow Cooper Rush even time to roll out of the pocket.
Yep.
That would have been a no gain or maybe even a slight loss on that carry. The defensive line blew that play up quickly. Lots to consider when you're watching these reps back and forth. You want to look at who's running with who, what players are in what positions.
Yeah, they're still mixing and matching some personnel for sure in camp, giving guys some different chances.
Tristan Hill's in the middle of that defense. Dante Fowler Jr. off the edge. Israel Mukwamu looks like he's covering in the slot. Cooper Rush in some trouble. That might have been a sack. Now he'll work out, and here's Tristan Hill chasing him down too. Rush had nowhere to go. He had to vacate the pocket, and Tristan Hill was a big reason for that.
And nice job by Terrell Basham, number 93, coming off the left edge, collapsing that pocket. Man, the competition on the D-line is we've talked about it, Kyle. I mean, there's 16 guys in camp, and 16 guys are not going to make this team.
Tyler Smith out there working with the offensive line. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. So we go back to the first team offense across the board. Up against the first-team defense, too. Play action. Prescott over the middle, put it on the money, but it's batted away. CeeDee Lamb was covered by Israel Mukuamu, who has a little extracurricular after the play.
Nice job in pickup there by Jake Ferguson, the rookie tight end, in the backfield. Giving Dak an extra second, he might have been clobbered otherwise, able to get that ball off. Ferguson back at practice, he was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring issue earlier.
It's good to see him back. We talked about crucial snaps for the offensive line. It's very much so the same for a tight end as a rookie. There's Zeke. Back and forth, and that was a nice cut. Came back to the inside. Anthony Brown was the guy coming up to make the tackle, and I'm not sure if he would have made that tackle. He didn't have a good touch-up.
You got to remember with Zeke, he's in great shape, but he's still, whatever he weighs, 220. He can run you over. He's looked good out here, and enjoy him in practice while you can, because I don't think he's going to get a ton of preseason work. So this is a good opportunity for him heading into the regular season.
The majority of what we see in terms of other teams, it may be in those practices against Denver next Thursday and then L.A. next Wednesday and Thursday.
That might be his preseason more than anything.
They're trying to work this offensive line here. Tyler Smith, Tyler Biotish, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. Oh, and there's some pushing and shoving. Donovan Wilson has his hands all over somebody.
This is the time,
It was
Kyle.
Jake Ferguson.
This is where it gets extra chippy. You can see another team you're about to face. You're tired of hitting your teammate. You're tired of, the back and forth in pads, seeing the same guy every day. It gets a little chippy right before the first preseason game.
Wilson off the field for this next snap. Play action to Davis. Prescott wants to go deep. Has CeeDee Lamb. Got pushed back a little bit. Might have been a tug. Did you see the tug?
I saw a little tug.
I think there was a little tug there, too. I don't know if it would have been enough to throw the flag. There was no flag thrown.
I'm sure AB would disagree with us wholeheartedly.
It's a veteran tug. That's all it was.
Yeah, he's in his seventh season.
Just kind of just pull him back a little bit. That's all. Not a poorly thrown ball by Dak Prescott, though. Put it only where his receiver could get it.
Yeah, I mean, the rapport that he and CeeDee have these last few days, it's very exciting if you're a Cowboys fan.
Turpin in motion. They give it to him on the shuffle pass, and here he comes near side. Israel Mukuamu all the way in middle of our action. I love the little wrinkles that Turpin could bring to this offense, man.
It's very similar to Tony Pollard. It's like X number of times. How many times can you get the ball in his hands? That's what Mike McCarthy talked about, actually, with Randall Cobb back when they were in Green Bay together. You want to get guys with a lot of shiftiness and explosiveness, just an X number of touches per game in different ways.
Looks like they're having a late substitution here, maybe a quick break. This will be our final play. We're going to get one more in here because the majority of the first team's still in there, and most notably Dak Prescott is at quarterback. So we want to give you one more play with Dak behind center, and then we'll wrap things up here on Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. It's been a great day of practice so far. Mike McCarthy said you always have a turning point in practice. He thought that turning point was on Saturday when things started to click, and that's certainly carried over here into this Monday session. Noah Brown, who's had a great camp so far, in motion. Prescott straight back to throw coming our way. There's Noah Brown again. He kept his feet inside. He was covered by Jordan Lewis. Still made the grab, Rob.
Very, very productive training camp for Noah Brown. And when you think about James Washington's injury, Michael Gallup still nursing, coming back from the knee injury. He's got a lot of opportunity ahead of him, Noah Brown does.
So that does it for us here on Training Camp Live. Rob, when you look back at this practice, what are your thoughts?
I think you said it. I think good day for the offense so far. I think defensive line had some great moments on Saturday, but you see some of the connection in the passing game. Very impressive from Dak. Really on with his passing today.
Looked like the offense really responded after a defensive dominant practice on Saturday. For Rob Phillips, I'm Kyle Yeomans. That does it for us for Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines.